let's jump into another deep dive. This time we're taking a close look at a true football legend, Thierry Henry. We're going beyond just goals and highlights
Oh,
today.
definitely. There's so much more to him.
We're really going to try to understand, what made him such a captivating figure.
Yeah, because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Henry's story isn't just like raw talent. It's about how he had to adapt his game over and over.
At every level, right?
Yeah, and he had to overcome so many challenges.
Yeah,
And I think he really redefined what it means to be a modern striker.
absolutely. So let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
Les Ulis, a Parisian suburb. I mean, it's not exactly known as a hotbed of, footballing talent, right?
Right.
So what was it about this environment that shaped the young Thierry Henry?
Well, I think Les Ulis, was like his proving ground.
Okay.
You have to picture him honing his skills on those local pitches, right?
Yeah.
Driven by this burning ambition.
But there was something else, right?
Yeah, well, his father, a very demanding figure,
He instilled that work ethic.
Yeah, like a relentless work ethic.
Okay. So it was this combination of raw talent and then that just drive that really set the stage for his journey. But, even with all that talent, it only takes you so far.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the next step. Clairefontaine.
Ah, Clairefontaine.
I mean, this is where potential becomes polished skill.
Exactly. The French National Football Academy.
I mean, he was surrounded by some future stars there.
Oh, yeah, like Nicolas Anelka and William Gallas.
It's an incredibly competitive environment.
Oh, incredibly. And even there, he just stood out. I mean, he scored a mind-blowing 55 goals in a single season.
55 goals. That's not just talent. That's a statement.
Yeah.
And clearly, professional clubs took notice.
Well, they definitely did. As Monaco came in and, at just 17, Henry made his professional debut.
Talk about a meteoric rise. From the suburbs to, the top flight of French football in just a few years.
Amazing.
It seems like everything was falling into place, perfectly.
Well, not quite.
Oh.
While he did taste success with Monaco, they won the French championship in 1997.
Right.
But his next move to Juventus,
Yeah.
that was a real test.
Yeah.
They tried to make him into a more defensive player,
Really?
which just didn't suit him.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
You've got this explosive attacker, and they want him to focus on defending.
It was a tactical mismatch.
Yeah.
Henry thrives on that freedom and creativity and attack.
Right.
And for him, it was just so frustrating.
It makes sense.
But sometimes you need to take a step back to launch yourself forward.
And that launch pad turned out to be Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah.
I've heard Arsenal fans talk about Henry with a reverence,
Oh, yeah.
usually reserved for mythical figures.
Mm.
What was it about Wenger and Arsenal that clicked so perfectly for him?
Well, Wenger was a visionary. He saw Henry not just as a talented winger, which is how Juventus used him,
Right.
but as a central striker.
Right.
And he built his entire system around Henry's strengths.
Oh, wow.
His pace, his agility, his lethal finishing.
So it wasn't just about slotting Henry into an existing system.
Yeah,
it
right.
was about creating a system that maximized his abilities.
Precisely.
Wow.
Wenger's Arsenal played with this incredible fluidity, and Henry was the spearhead.
I mean, it was a tactical masterstroke.
It was.
Led to one of the most dominant periods in Premier League history.
Yeah.
And you can't talk about dominance without talking about the Invincible.
The Invincibles, yeah.
Going an entire season undefeated. That's the stuff of fairy tales.
It is.
What were those tactical innovations that Wenger used to make that happen?
Well, Wenger understood that to be truly dominant, you had to be comfortable without the ball.
Right.
As much as with it.
Okay.
So he instilled this relentless pressing style.
Interesting.
Forcing opponents into mistakes, winning the ball high up the pitch.
Okay.
This created constant attacks with Henry at the heart.
So it's like this beautifully orchestrated chaos.
Yeah.
And Henry's the conductor.
It was beautiful to watch. And for Henry, it was the perfect platform.
Yeah.
To show off everything. He wasn't just scoring goals. He was creating them, setting the tempo, leading the press.
And let's be honest, those goals were pretty spectacular, too.
Oh, yeah.
228 goals for Arsenal. He practically rewrote the record books.
The numbers speak for themselves, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
There was this artistry to his game.
Yeah.
It was mesmerizing.
Yeah.
He moved with such grace, gliding past defenders.
Right.
And that trademark finish, cutting in from the left, curling the ball into the far corner. pure magic.
I've seen clips of it. It's like watching a ballet dancer score a goal.
Yeah.
Effortless. But, even for the most talented players, there comes a time for new challenges.
Right.
So what prompted his move to Barcelona in 2007?
Well, it was fascinating. He had achieved legendary status at Arsenal.
For sure.
But there was this sense that he wanted to test himself
Right.
in a different environment, against different styles of play.
I see.
And Barcelona, at that time, was on the cusp of greatness.
Right. So I've got him conquering England. Now he's setting his sights on Spain.
Yeah.
Barcelona, with its legacy of beautiful attacking football,
Right.
must have seemed like the perfect fit.
It did.
But how did he adapt to Barcelona's, famed tiki-taka style?
That's the amazing thing about Henry, his ability to adapt and evolve. At Arsenal, he was the focal point, but at Barcelona,
Yeah.
he was surrounded by other world-class players like Messi, Xavi, Iniesta.
Wow.
So he had to learn to play within a more intricate system.
More possession-based.
Exactly.
I mean, that must have been a challenge, right?
It was.
To go from being the main guy,
Right.
to being part of this more collective unit.
Yeah. But it shows how intelligent he was as a player.
Yeah.
And his humility, too.
Right.
He didn't try to force himself into the spotlight.
Yeah.
He took a different role.
Okay.
Used his movement and intelligence to create space.
Yeah.
And, of course, still scored goals.
And this was the Barcelona team that achieved the unthinkable?
I know, right?
The sextuple.
The sextuple in 2009.
6 major trophies.
I know, it's crazy.
In 1 year.
Unlikely to ever be repeated.
I mean, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Champions League.
The Supercopa de España, the UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup.
A clean sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Mind-blowing. So we've got Henry dominating in England, conquering Spain.
Yeah.
As part of this historic team, I mean, where does he go from there?
Well, he made a move that surprised a lot of people. He went to the New York Red Bulls.
Really?
In Major League Soccer. In 2010.
I mean, that must have been huge for the MLS.
Oh, yeah.
To have a global superstar like Henry.
It was a sign that the league was growing.
Yeah.
Attracting talent from around the world.
Right.
But for Henry, I think it was more than just football.
Really? What do you mean?
It was about embracing something new.
Okay.
A new culture, a new challenge.
It's interesting, because throughout his career, Henry never shied away from new experiences.
Never.
It's like he was always pushing himself, testing his limits.
Absolutely. And that brings us to his international career.
Okay. Yeah.
With the French national team, which was just as impressive.
Oh, I mean, he was a key part of the French team that won the '98 World Cup.
He was.
On home soil, right?
Magical moment for French football.
Yeah.
Henry played a crucial role, scored 3 goals in the tournament.
Wow.
And then he went on to win Euro 2000.
With France.
Yeah, cementing his status as a national hero.
Yeah.
But, his international career wasn't without some controversy.
You're talking about the handball.
The infamous handball incident.
Against Ireland.
And the 2009 World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
That moment, it cast a bit of a shadow.
It did.
It was a crucial game. And that handball led to the goal that sent France to the World Cup.
Yeah.
It really sparked this huge debate about sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And using technology in football.
It's a good reminder, I think.
Yeah.
That even the most gifted athletes, they're human.
They are.
And they can make mistakes under pressure.
Exactly. And it's how you respond to those mistakes that matters.
Right.
To his credit, Henry admitted to it.
Yeah.
Expressed regret.
So we've talked about the highs and lows of his playing career.
We have.
But his journey didn't end with retirement,
No, not at all.
He's a respected pundit, and he's even tried coaching.
Yes.
He's a natural in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Those insights, that unique perspective, you know?
And as a coach, he brings that same intensity.
Right.
That tactical awareness.
He was an assistant coach with the Belgian national team.
He was.
Helped them to a 3rd-place finish at the 2018 World Cup.
Right. That was a talented Belgian squad.
Yeah.
Working alongside Roberto Martinez.
Right.
I think it ignited a passion for coaching for him.
Yeah, and he's had those stints as head coach too, right?
He has.
For Monaco and the Montreal Impact and MLS.
Facing all those unique challenges,
Mm-hmm.
Different teams, different playing styles.
And those experiences, I imagine, shaped his philosophy as a coach.
They have, yeah.
And now he's coaching the French U21 and Olympic teams.
Yeah.
shaping the future of French football.
This is amazing.
It really is. It's like his journey has come full circle.
It has.
From a kid in Les Ulis to a global icon,
Right.
shaping the future of the game.
It's a story of evolution, adaptation, and passion for the game.
I think that's what makes Thierry Henry so captivating, isn't it? It's so easy to focus on the goals, the trophies, but it's so much more than that.
It really is. It's about pushing boundaries, overcoming adversity, and leaving your mark on something you love.
It's incredible, right?
What's that?
Even after everything he's achieved as a player, Thierry Henry is still, contributing to football.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
He's not just, sitting back.
Right.
He's still looking for new challenges.
Always pushing, yeah.
Finding ways to give back to the game.
It really makes you think, what is it?
What's that?
That drive, that relentless pursuit of excellence.
Well, I think, it's a few things.
Yeah.
That competitiveness, that desire to push limits.
Every athlete has that, right?
Yeah. But there's also a love for the game. Wanting to share his knowledge, help the next generation.
And you see that in his coaching.
Definitely.
He's not just copying what he did.
No.
He's developing his own style.
He's learning from everything.
Right.
The good and the bad.
And using it to shape these young players.
Exactly.
Not just, their skills,
right,
but their mentality, too.
It's like he's passing on the torch,
Keeping that legacy of French football alive.
That's a great way to put it.
So when we talk about his legacy, it's not just the goals, the trophies.
It's the impact of the game.
He's inspired so many young players
around the world, right?
Showing that with hard work and dedication.
And a willingness to adapt.
You can achieve anything.
He's redefined what it means to be a striker.
For sure.
And shown that football, it's more than just a sport.
It's a platform, right?
Right, for growth.
Cultural exchange.
Leaving your mark on the world.
Exactly.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm just, in awe.
It's been a privilege to really explore his story.
And appreciate his impact.
On this game we love.
Before we go, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
What part of Thierry Henry's story really resonated with you? Yeah. What did you learn?
What inspiration can you take away from his journey?
Think about his legacy. And maybe, like Henry.
You'll feel inspired to pursue your own passions.
With that same dedication.
This has been The Deep Dive.
It has.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.